Good afternoon. I would like to call Property Management Committee to order. First order of business, I need to read this. This meeting of the Property Management Committee is being conducted electronically pursuant to Governor Bill Lee's Executive Order 16. I would ask for a motion that conducting the meeting electronically is necessary to protect public health, safety, and welfare in light of the coronavirus. Do I have a motion to that effect? So moved. Here, got a motion from Commissioner Cook. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second from Commissioner Trade. Roll call.
Commissioner Cook?
Here.
Commissioner Dodd?
Here.
Commissioner Gammon?
Here.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. And Chairman McAdoo?
Yes. Okay, first order of business, approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to that effect?
Mr. Chair, I reviewed those minutes and found everything to be in order, so I'll make a motion to approve.
We got a motion from Commissioner Gooch. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a second from Commissioner Cook. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's right, we got to call the roll. Okay, call the roll.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Cook? Yes. Chairman McAdoo?
Yes. Okay, first order of business, courthouse renovations.
Ben.
Bill's coming up to explain that to us.
Go over that. So we figured today, we talked to the architect, and we figured that we're about at the 90% completion rate, or 90% completion, and that is including the last two change orders, which is the handicap ramp and the concrete, the concrete sidewalks. And so we may end up with a third change order, which is going to be an automated door operating system for the handicap ramp. And we're going to upgrade the doors, the automatic doors on the east side. And then it's also going to include, we've got to put in the plumber, we're going to let the plumber install a backflow valve for the irrigation system. And we've had several changes, modifications on the handrail, and so it ended up that we're going to have to do a change order for the wrought iron handrail that we're putting up.
On that handrail, Mr. Chairman, the ADA requirements, if you're coming up the ramp here on the east side, there's a slight increase for the wheelchair ramp. And currently, we don't have, there's the black one on the left-hand side, but ADA now requires a handrail attached to the building on the right-hand side. So it's got to come up with the ramp, and there's a Tennessee or an AT&T phone box right there, and we got to curve it around or stop it and start again of some sort. So it's just making it ADA accessible. Same thing over here on the south side.
To the south side as well.
Hey, do all committee members understand that, what he's talking about? Okay, continue on. Ben, you can continue on.
Sir?
You can continue on. We don't need a motion, nothing on that.
Okay, that's all I've got on the.
Okay, that's all you got on the courthouse renovation?
Like I said, we're
Mr.
about
Chairman?
90%, so.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Ben, you've got the parapet wall as one of your bullet points, and I noticed the blue tarpaulins up on a couple of the corners of the parapet wall. So do you have any issues going on there, or should we anticipate a change order and some parapet wall repair in the future?
No, I think we're going to hold off on that. They're going to go ahead and fix the brick on the corners and rebuild the chimney and do the tuck pointing there, and then we're going to hold off on that parapet wall until we put a new roof on the building, and it'll be easier to address at that time.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Okay, do we have any other questions? If not, next thing on the agenda, old judicial building and archives.
Okay, so on the judicial building and the archives, we did, I guess last week, we did a teleconference, and we had a pre-bid meeting with the architects and the contractor and any of the subs that were interested. And then several of them came and did a walkthrough of the building. The contractor came back and said that several of his subs, we had an 8-month time frame for the project. He said several of his subs came back and said that they felt like it was going to take 10 months because of the archives building was okay. There wasn't a problem there as far as the 8-month time frame. But the judicial building, they thought because of the social distancing, they said that they would rather extend the project for 2 more months. We would have to pay, they're saying that we would end up paying $16,000, $17,000 a month for general conditions. But he said that would allow the subcontractors to work a 5-day week, 5 or 6 day week versus having to pay them overtime on the weekend. And so we're going to take that, we're going to let the Public Building Authority they're going to take that issue up at the next meeting. But he did say he got all of his quotes back, or his bids back in, I guess they came in today, and he actually said that the numbers were better than expected. So he didn't, I don't have any numbers to quote, but he said that, I don't have any numbers to share, but he said that I think the PBAs they're supposed to meet the 1st of May, and he'll have his numbers all compiled by that time, and so we'll have a little better handle on what's going on with it.
Any questions?
So basically, man, they're going to submit the bids with a 10-month contingency on it instead of, they said they couldn't do anything within the 8 month. So
That's going to be the PBA will. I've talked to Stan Vaught and Brick, and they're going to discuss that, whether to allow them the extra 2 months or not. And there's a concern about the money, of course, because it's money up front. The contractor's saying we'll save that money in overtime at the end, and maybe in change orders, but that'll be up to the PBA to decide. So.
it's understandable, the situation like it is now.
That's what he's saying, that they can't just pile everybody in that building, but I'm not sure. That's.
But, Mr. Chairman, Ben, didn't we have in the contract that we had a time limit of 8 months?
That's the architect decided.
The architect decided to put a completion date of 8 months, and so the contractor came back and said, because of the current pandemic, et cetera, I can't get it all done in 8 months, so I'll need to charge you another $16,000 a month to take it in 10 months. Or to get it done by the 8th month, it's another $16,000 because he'll have to bring people in on the weekend, and I would just soon not pay him and give him 2 more months, and what difference 2 more months, and that's saving $30,000 by letting him take a little more time,
I would
That makes
say,
sense.
Sir, yes, sir. I'd say, he's probably bringing several folks. He's from Kentucky, and so he could be bringing several contractors with him from that. He shopped locally, and he said he found some local subs that are going to work on the job, but he did also tell me that he was going to bring some folks with him, so that could have something to do with that as well, so.
Okay, any more questions concerning the old judicial building? If not, you said that you would bring the figures back to us when PBA, okay.
We're just at the next meeting, he's supposed to have all the bids from his subs compiled, and we'll know exactly what the project's going to cost.
Okay, next on the agenda, Judicial Center.
If we're talking about the glass, the broken glass windows, and so we've got three shattered glass windows. We got quotes on them, but we reached out to Jerry Preston and to John Thayer with Bell Construction, and one of the glasses we know is why it got broke by a door that swung into it, but two of them, they said that when they first looked at it, they said that was somebody had bumped into it, but we've contested that, and they've come back and looked at it, and I think that they're going to replace those two glasses under warranty, and they're on the 6th floor, and so that's one of the getting the glass up there is more of a trouble than the price of the glass itself, and so the inner glass is broken, the outer glass is still intact, but they are going to replace that under warranty as far as I can tell.
Only two windows on the 6th floor.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Is that defect?
Maybe stress, maybe just settling and stress, but we don't think anything hit it hard enough to shatter it. You know, at first they thought it might have been somebody's knee, and then they said that a vacuum cleaner might have hit one of them, but we don't think that's the case. And so.
Any questions on the judicial windows?
Chairman, I have a question if I could.
Commissioner Gannon?
We have a janitorial service over. I was just wondering how it's doing now. I mean, I know the last report they were doing a really good job.
We've had all good comments, and they sent us a video a few weeks ago where they had some steamers over there, and they were steaming all the countertops and steaming the glass and around the restrooms and stuff. And so that's not in the contract that they did that extra cleaning and all that. That was really that's been a bonus, and so I think they're doing an excellent job so far.
I just wanted to follow up, so I did hear that now that we changed to a new contract, we're getting a lot better service. That's all I had.
Anyone else? Okay, next on the agenda, community care.
At community care, I talked to Mike Picklesheimer, and he's gotten the okay and stamped drawings back from the state health department. So we're ready to go just as soon as the contractors are allowed to get in there. But right now, because of the coronavirus, that nobody's allowed in there to do any work. So that's where we're at on that. And the roof replacement and the punch list has been completed. And so all the roofing portion we've got that out of the way, so it's good.
Questions on community care? Okay, if not, we'll go to Paul's roof.
The Paul's roof is complete, and there's a final inspection by an engineer, and payment approval are scheduled for Monday, April 27th. And so but looks like they've done a pretty good job. So.
Questions on the Paul's roof? Okay, if not, next on the agenda, one-stop building.
Mr. Chairman, I talked to Lisa Kroll today, and she said that we had talked about back in January, which I recall making that statement, is that we were going to move on with or without the state. Well, right after I made that statement at the Property Management Committee meeting in January, soon after that, Mr. Sandlin and I, they had a day on the Hill at the Capitol, so we went down, we met with Senator Reeves. Senator Reeves, we asked him to help us, and he said he was going to make it a priority, and had representatives from the Department of Safety there at the time that we had the meeting set up. So those two people in charge of the real estate for the Department of Safety said that they were going to get on it and should be back to us in a couple of weeks and report back to his office as well. Well, a couple of weeks was the middle of March. If you know what happened in the middle of March, everything went to, where in a handbasket. And so everything got shut down because Mayor Cooper shut down the whole city and put in place the stay-at-home order. And so nothing has happened. So hopefully, whatever the governor says tomorrow or Monday or come back on May the 1st, maybe we can start seeing some things move forward and progressing on that. Okay?
Yeah, that's understandable. On the one-stop building, even if we had it, we couldn't go in it now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, any questions on the one-stop building? So hopefully, maybe you can get a report by next meeting.
I would like to get some kind of report from the Department of Safety. Let's go, tired of waiting.
All right, next on the agenda, WQJZ inquiry.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman and members, I received, soon after I took office here in September, but a few weeks later, I received a request letter for what is before you again tonight, because it's the same request letter has come back around. WQJZ is a quiet jazz 103.9 FM. And it's a Stones River Community Media, a Tennessee not-for-profit corporation. It says its address is 12 North Public Square. What they are asking to do is, there's two gentlemen involved in this, and one is Mr. Jim Gilmore, and the other one is Mr. Ken Berger, with Berger, Scott McFarland right across the street. So they would actually like to have a little section of the 5th floor of the old judicial building to set up their quiet jazz radio station. And I've shared with them that we're planning on putting our IT department on the 4th and 5th floors. Back 2 years ago, I went and talked to Mr. Bart Walker and asked him his opinion. He didn't think it was fair that we would allow another competing radio station, even though it's quiet jazz. It's not the same kind of radio station, but giving anybody free space and not charging them. That's up to this committee. I don't think we have room. They want the height of that judicial building. If you want to consider this, then the only other thing that I would say would be available would be somewhere on the 3rd floor in this building. But then you get into giving them security, give them keys to the building. Is that what you want to do? Or you just say no, and I'll send him a thank you, and we don't have anything available letter.
Any discussion?
But I told Ken I would bring it before the committee. He wanted me to make the decision. I said, I'm not making that decision.
So, Mr. Chair, so they would have to, would they be putting a tower on top of the?
No, I think it's, I think they, I don't know about radios, but I know they have to have a tower, but I think that they just wanted to broadcast here and I think mainly Commissioner Dodd's district, that's about as far as they'd be able to reach out with what little antenna they'd have on their desk. I don't, M-Tissue, they're both M-Tissue, you know, music inclined and want to do jazz, you know.
So they're just looking for office space or
Yeah.
a studio?
A little studio, just set up a desk and play quiet jazz.
Would this be
Mr.
just,
Chairman?
would this just be Murfreesboro area, or would it be county?
I don't know. Well, you know, WGNS has got a tower, and if you play him on AM, I'd lose him between Smyrna and Laverne.
I have trouble picking up WGNS.
Yeah.
WGNS.
I don't think they'll get to the halfway to Smyrna with this station. I don't know what their frequency is or how far it would reach. I'm not a radio person. I just turn it on and listen.
County building, I think it should go county-wide. So
Yes, ma'am.
right now, I'm thinking negative.
Well, they could probably make it go countywide if they put a tower on top of our courthouse, which I would ask you not to do that.
Okay, Commissioner Dodd?
Yes, sir, Bill had just acknowledged that, yes, it is it appears to be a low wattage output. And I think it does just broadcast in a close proximity to downtown. It's one of my favorite stations, and it is almost entirely nonprofit-based
Right.
advertising and commentary. So it does serve a unique purpose. I'm not suggesting that I'm an advocate for doing them a favor of space, but Trey, they're not looking for to erect a tower or anything. They're currently, I think, broadcasting out of one of the lawyer's offices on a conference table. So it's just a very humble enterprise that would be very non-intrusive. But I'm still inclined to agree with the mayor that it just may not be quite fair to start picking facilities like that to.
I mean,
space.
I'm like you, Commissioner. I like Ken Berger. He's a great guy, and they probably put out some good music. I love quiet jazz.
It's a great station,
Yeah.
but I just don't see how. I'm not an advocate for giving them space.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, just one more thought, kind of echoed Commissioner Dodd, is it could be a precedent that we can't live up to if other nonprofits were to come and ask for space. And so I think that would be troublesome if we allow this and then, you know, what else is going to come down, and then we don't have a spot, and then here we go. So I guess my recommendation would be that to wish them well and hope they find a space, but it's just something that feasibly we can't do, I don't think.
Mr. Chairman, I'll take that as to send them a nice letter declining their request, if that's the will of this committee.
Commissioner Gooch, would you put that in the form of a motion, or?
Well, yes, I would move that we send them a nice, polite letter wishing them well and good luck, but we're going to decline their request.
They have second to that motion? Second by Commissioner Cook. Commissioner Cook second the motion. Any other discussion on the motion?
Commissioner Cook? For the motion.
If somebody's talking, we can't hear somebody, like use speakers, microphone.
Commissioner Dodd,
Yes.
Can you hear now?
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson, Chairman McAdoo.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Mayor, you can send them a nice letter, not a hard letter, but a nice,
I'll send them a nice, quiet
yeah,
jazz letter.
okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other business come before us tonight?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, one thing, I did receive a phone call from Mr. Taylor Wright. Taylor Wright has Wright Realty here in town, and he also is the property manager for the gentleman or firm out of California who owns our building down, or the building that we rent, where the parole office is located here on West Main Street. And he called me this past week, and he said, I've got somebody interested in buying this building. Well, of course, we had been delayed on getting IT and everybody into the old judicial building. So it's taken longer. We thought that we could get them in there by June of this year, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Now, tonight we find out it's going to be 10 months, and not even 8 months. And so he was unaware of our construction delay, but he said, what if I've got somebody interested in buying a building? And I said, well, can we just pay until somebody wants to buy it? He said, and then he threw out, what if we just run this lease with you until February 28th of 2021, which was perfect for us because that's about 10 months. And if that's okay with you all, I'll go ahead and just ask him to extend that until February 2021, and maybe by that time we'll have our judicial building built and we'll move and vacate that lease.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Dodd?
may I request that we have a statement or a contingency to have a right to renew if we can't move, if it takes us 11 months or
Sure.
we get a late start, can we prevent them from kicking us out?
He was going to send me some paperwork when I talked to him last week, and so I'll have that, our attorneys add that on.
Thank you.
Sounds good if they go with it. If they don't go with it,
Right.
something happened, whatever
And it was
else you think we could have as a backup plan.
well, I think he'll work with us. You know, we're paying him a little over $8,000 a month, and it. So I think they'll go with us.
They'll go with us for that.
Yes, sir.
So I guess maybe you can have us some information by next meeting on it.
Oh, yes, sir. I will.
Okay, that's good. If you have us some information by next meeting on it, maybe the other commissioners can be thinking about some secondary plan or whatever,
Okay.
you know, just in case. Okay, then other questions on, from the mayor, from Taylor Wright proposal? Okay, any other business come before the committee?
One last thing, Mr. Chairman, on the bank building, the old Mercersburg Bank building, just to let you know that people are still interested. You know, we had withdrawn because of the COVID pandemic. We were planning on auctioning that off sometime on the 1st of May, and we backed off because we didn't know what was going to happen with the economy, et cetera. But just in the last 2 weeks, two of the original people, the lady from Nashville, downtown Nashville, and the gentleman who owns, what's the name of his bar down there? Whiskey Dicks. Yeah. They both expressed interest. They're still interested from whenever we open this back up. Okay. Just, that was an FYI. No action.
Okay, any other business?
No,
Tom?
sir.
Any committee member got any business come before the committee? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Meeting's adjourned.